This is how you drop stain like a hardwood pro. So you can see I've got a buffer set up here, and underneath it we've got a thick white buffing pad and some terry towels underneath there filled with about 12 ounces of stain. I'm just going to work this stain evenly over the hardwood floors, and I want it to go on thick. You see that excess stain sitting on the surface, those half moons and all those little drops? That is perfect. That means the pores of the hardwood are being filled up, and it's going to take the color as richly as it possibly can. If you're noticing a little bit of dust dropping off the buffer, that's okay. We clean it off ahead of time, but it's a sanding machine, so it's loaded up with dust. And if a little falls off, it's no big deal. Stain is a penetrating finish, and it doesn't build on the surface. So none of that is going to be there in the end. We'll just vacuum it all up when we're done. As soon as we see that the buffer is not leaving excess on the surface, we know we've got to reload it. Remember, you have to saturate the wood or your stain will be uneven. On a red oak floor like this one, 12 ounces of stain is only going to get us probably 75 to 100 square feet. So you can see that I'm going to have to reload this buffer quite a few times. I'm doing the middle of the floor first here while Sam is coming behind and doing the edges, but you could do it the opposite way as well. Whatever you do, just make sure when you're doing the edges, you're not leaving any straight lines, any patterns that can be detected, because those could show up in the final product. If you're not comfortable with the buffer, you can also do this entire floor just like we're doing the edges. Just rag it on thick by hand and then rag it back off by hand. As soon as we've got this thick layer of stain applied, we're coming behind and we're wiping off all the excess, and we're doing the exact same thing on the edges. Maybe you heard the buffer switch into a higher RPM, but I've got a clean set of rags on there. I've got covers on my feet, and I'm wiping these hardwood floors perfectly clean. No excess stain left on top. If you're lucky enough to have someone helping you, just know the buffer portion goes a lot faster than the edges. So be prepared to break off and help the other guy. I don't show it here, but I'm actually going to buff off the entire floor really fast one more time, just looking for footprints, cord marks, anything out of the ordinary. Now pay close attention here. You're going to see me lift the buffer up right there. My head is loading up with stain, that white buffer pad, and it's losing its traction on the rags. When the buffer starts acting like this, that means your stuff is wearing out. Now I'm at the end of the job here. I'm going to press through, but if we had a lot left to go, I'd break out another white pad, break out another set of rag. These last 50 square feet here are by far the hardest. Your cord's in the way, you're walking on wet stain, and it's just cramped. There's nothing I can tell you that will make this last part easy, but I do have a few tips. 1, have someone at the door to take your stuff. 2, have a sheet of plastic outside to where you can walk out without worrying about getting stain on the concrete. And 3, always, always, always buff behind where you walk. In case you were wondering, this is 2¼ inch wide red oak stained with Bona Special Walnut. Thanks for watching, and if you like this one, you might also like the one in the top right hand corner of your screen.